Number 2, again, the only thing you need to do is either make a table of values or solve it with y equals mx plus b. If you choose to do the table of values, pick values of x that's already plotted on the graph. As you can see, most of the dots are on the positive side of x. So we have 0, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 0 plus 2 is 2, 1 plus 2 is 3, 2 plus 2 is 4, 3 plus 2 is 5, and 4 plus 2 is 6. So you're looking for the graph that has base coordinates. Okay? The other way to do it is y equals mx plus b form. So we take our equation, y equals x plus 2. Our b is 2. So that means our y-intercept is 0, 2. Our slope, there's no number in front of x, so you assume it is 1. So that means 1 up and 1 to the right. So we start at 0, 2. The only graphs that have 0, 2 is B and C. So you go 1 up and 1 to the right. 1 up and 1 to the right. As you can see, B is the only graph that plots at 1 up and 1 to the right every single time. So the answer is B. It does not matter which way you choose to do it, both will give you the right answer. Number 3, which choice is the correct equation for the line graphic below? As you can see, all 4 answer choices are in y equals mx plus b form. So we need to find the slope and the y-intercept. We're going to start with the y-intercept. The line crosses y at positive 1. So that means that our b is equal to 1. Our slope, to find our slope, we look at the next point on the line. The next point is here at 1, 4. So we're going to draw ourselves a triangle. Our triangle goes 3 up, 1 to the right. So our slope is 3 up, 1 to the right. When we simplify that, that just becomes 3. So our equation is y equals 3x plus 1. And that answer choice is A. Number 4, which function is nonlinear? Remember, linear functions can be written as y equals mx plus b, where m is your slope and is multiplying the x, b is your y-intercept, and it is by itself. No variable is being multiplied by it. So that means we need to make sure that all the equations are in that form. So we're going to fix this first one. 2 is dividing into everything. So we're going to change it to y equals 2 cannot go into 3 evenly, so we leave it as 3 over 2x. And 2 cannot go into 1 evenly, so we'll leave it as 1/2. As you can see, 3/2 is multiplying x, and 1/2 is by itself. So it is a linear function. In B, y equals a negative x. If there is no b, you assume the b is 0. Again, negative 1 is multiplying the x, and 0 is by itself without a variable. So again, b is a linear function. C, to get rid of the parentheses, you got to use distributive property. So you're going to do y equals 2x times x is 2x squared. 2x times a minus 4 is a minus 8x. As you can see, x has an exponent, mx plus b does not. Also, the 8 is multiplying the x, so the b is not by itself. So c is the non-linear function. D is already written in the correct form, and again, 1/2 is multiplying the x, minus 7 is by itself. So the correct answer here is C. Number 6, Karen made a scatter plot comparing the filter heights of dogs to their weights. Karen saw that the filter height of 28 inches. Using a linear model, which is the best prediction of a dog's weight. To predict something from a scatter plot, the first step is to draw a line of best fit. Remember, a line of best fit must touch or come close to the majority of the dots in your scatter plot. So we're going to take a line and move it until it's either touching or is close to most of the dots. As you can see here in this, where I put the line at, it's close to this first dot, touching the second one, close to the fourth one, and barely touching the sixth one. Again, most of the dots are either touching or close to that line. Then we got to find 28. 28 is here, so I'm going to put a line at 28. And where these two lines cross at, that's the answer. So, the two lines cross here, which is 105. So C is our answer. And number 7, what is the value of 0.36 with the bar over times 11 over 2? First step, we cannot multiply numbers of different types. First type is a repeating decimal, second type is a fraction. The easiest way to do this is to turn the repeating decimal into a fraction. So your first step is notice how many digits are being repeated. In this case, there are 2 digits being repeated, 3 and 6. Since there's 2 digits being repeated, you got to move the decimal 2 places over. If you move 2 places over, that means you're multiplying by 100. So you have 100x equals 36.3636. Okay? You're going to use x to represent the original repeating decimal. You're going to subtract the 2. By subtracting the 2, you have now gotten rid of the repeating decimal part. So you have 99x equals 36. X equals 36 divided by 99. 36 over 99 can be simplified. Both can be divided by 9. 36 divided by 9 is 4. And 99 divided by 9 is 11. So we have simplified our repeating decimal to 4 over 11. Step 2 is now, all we got to do is multiply. So we have 4 over 11 times 11 over 2. Okay? You can either cross simplify or you can multiply it out and then simplify. 4 times 11 is 44. 11 times 2 is 22. That means x equals, simplify 44 with 22. 22 goes to 44 2 times. So the answer is 2. Number 8. What is the sum of all the integers between square root of 19 and square root of 77? So we want to find all the integers between those two square roots. Now, neither the square root of 19 nor the square root of 77 are perfect squares. But there are perfect squares in between them. The perfect squares are square root of 25, square root of 36, square root of 49, and the square root of 64. Those are the only perfect squares between them. Remember, a perfect square means a number times itself will give you a perfect square. So that means 5 times 5 gives me 25. 6 times 6 is 36. 7 times 7 is 49. And 8 times 8 is 64. The question says, what are these sums? So all you have to do is add up 5, 6, 7, and 8. 5 plus 6 is 11, 7 plus 8 is 15. That will give you 26. Question number 9. On a number line, let point P represent the largest integer value that's less than the square root of 407. Let point Q represent the largest integer value that's less than negative 68. Square root of 68. What is the distance between P and Q? Okay, let's start with the first point. We want the largest integer that is less than the square root of 407. Okay? Well, the square root of 407, again, 407 is not a perfect square. The perfect square that's less than 407 is square root of 400, which equals 20. 20 times 20 is 400. Now we're going to move on to this negative value. We want it to be the largest integer less than negative 68. Square root of 68. Okay? Well, the largest value that is less than negative of 68 is a negative 64. The negative value of 64. Okay? The square root of 64 is 8. So we're going to make it negative 8 because negative is on the outside. So now all we need to do is draw a number line, and we want to find the distance between negative 8 and 20. Well, the distance between negative 8 and 0 is 8. The distance between 0 and 20 is 20. So all we're going to do is 20 plus 8 equals 28. So the distance between P and Q is 28. Number 10, what is the value of 4 to the third times 4 to the negative 1 times 5 to the negative 2 over 4 to the fourth times 5 to the negative third times 5 to the 0. First step you've got to deal with is your negative and negative exponents. Remember, the exponent is negative, that means move the base. So if it's on top, we move it to the bottom. If it's on bottom, we move it to the top. So 4 to the third stays on top because the power is positive. 4 to the negative first is going to move down to the bottom from 4 to the first. 5 to the negative second is going to come down to the bottom from 5 to the second. 4 to the fourth stays on the bottom because the power is positive. 5 to the negative third moves up to the top. And 5 to the 0 power stays on the bottom. Now, you have to simplify your like bases. Okay? There's no like bases on top, so this says it's 4 to the third times 5 to the third. The like bases on the bottom are the 4s and the 5s. So what you're going to do is add them together. So 1 plus 4 is 5 times 2 plus 0, which is 2. Now, remember, when you're dividing your exponents, if the bases are the same, all you got to do is subtract the exponents. So we got 4 to the third and 4 to the fifth. Okay? So we're going to subtract that. 4 to the third minus 5 times 5, and exponent is going to be 3 minus 2. Okay? So that gives us 3 minus 5 is a negative 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. Okay? Now we got to simplify it again. So we have a negative exponent, so that 4 has to be moved down to the bottom. 5 to the first power is 5. 4 to the second power is 16. That is the simplified form of the original problem. There are a lot of word problems on the EOG. You have to break them down. Okay? When 8 is added to the number that is produced by doubling the number x, the result is equal to 8 times the number that is 5 less than x. What's the value of x? So first, let's break down that very first sentence. Okay? When 8 is added to the number, so we have plus 8, that is produced by doubling the number x. So we need to double x. So that means 2x. The result is equal to, equal mark, 8 times the number, so we have 8 times the number that is 5 less than x. So that is x minus 5. Once you have broken this down, then you can solve. So, first step, get rid of the parentheses by doing distributive property. So you will have 2x plus 8 equals 8 times x is 8x. 8 times a negative 5 is a negative 40. Okay? Remember, when you're solving equations, your whole goal is to get x by itself on one side, all the numbers on the other. So, to keep x positive, we're going to move this 2x, and it's going to become negative. So that gives us 6x minus 40 on the right-hand side, 8 on the left. Next step is to move the 40. It's negative 40, so it becomes plus 40. So we get 48 equals 6x. To find x, then all we have to do is divide by 6. So x equals 48. Sorry, x equals 8. In triangle WXY, line segment WY is congruent to line segment XY. The perimeter of triangle WXY is 76 inches, so that means all of these sides added together gives you 76. How many inches long is WX? Okay, look at the shape they give you. The first sentence tells you the W was converted to XW. That means whatever XY is, WY is also. So that's 3M minus 4. To find perimeter, add all the sides together. So we have 3M minus 4 plus 3M minus 4 plus M. And they told us that the perimeter is 76. So all we got to do now is add our M's together. 3M plus 3M plus 3M. Combined like terms is 7M. Negative 4 plus negative 4 ends up negative 8 or minus 8 equals 76. Next step says subtract 8. We're going to add 8. So 7M equals 84. To find M now, all we got to do is divide. And that gives us 12. M is 12. Since WX equals M, and M equals 12, we know that WX equals 12 inches. Alright, and number 13, first step is to decipher the bullets. Okay? So for January, we don't know what his fixed income is, so we're going to call it X. We know his sales was 15,000, but it's 15,000 times a certain percent. We don't know what that is, so we're going to call that Y. His total earnings is $2,550. For February, again, we don't know what his fix is, so we're calling it X. His sales are 25,000, so it's 25,000 Y. Again, because it's a certain percentage, and that equals 3,050. Again, we have two unknowns, so we need to get rid of one of the unknowns. We want to get rid of the X's because that is the smallest of the two. Both of them say 1X. So we can get rid of it by multiplying the bottom one by -1. So when we are done, we will keep our first one exactly the same. But we're going to change everybody's sign in the second one. And we're going to combine like terms. X minus X is 0X, so we don't write it down. 15,000 Y minus 25,000 Y is a negative 10,000 Y. And 2,550 minus 3,050 gives you different signs, just subtract 0, 0, 5, and negative 500. To find Y, all we have to do is divide. Y equals a negative 500 divided by negative 10,000. When we simplify, we get a positive 5 over 100. Since Y is a percent, we're just going to say Y equals 5%, which is equal to, as a decimal, 0.05. Okay? Our next step is plug in y to find x. So again, we're going to use that very first equation since it is the smaller of the two equations. And we're going to plug in. We got x plus 15,000, y equals 2,550. Okay, y we said was 0.05. So x plus 15,000 times 0.05 equals 2,550. When we multiply 15,000 times 0.05, you get 750. Again, to get x by itself, we're going to subtract 750. X equals, when we subtract, that's right, 1,800. Any questions? Number 14 says, in the table below, y is a linear function of x. So, if y is a function of x, that means you can use y equals mx plus b. Okay? So, again, you have to find your y-intercept and you have to find your slope. They want you to find what is the value of y when x is 0. So that means find your y-intercept. Okay? Because your y-intercept x is always equal to 0. First step, find your slope. So we only need 2 points for slope. Okay? Slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. So I'm just going to do the first 2 points. So we have 5 minus a negative 3 over 3 minus 5. So 5 minus 3 is 8. 5 minus negative 3, as we said, is 8. 3 minus 5 is a negative 2. That means your slope is a negative 4. Okay? Once you find your slope, okay, now you gotta find is your y-intercept. Y equals a negative 4x plus b. Okay? They tell you x is going to equal, first you gotta find your y-intercept. That's when x equals 0. So we're just going to take any point we want up here and plug it in. I'm going to take the first point because it's all positive numbers and it's easier to work with positive numbers. So 5 equals negative 4 times 3 plus b. 5 equals negative 4 times 3 is a negative 12 plus b. Instead of minus 12, we're going to change it to plus 12. 5 plus 12 is 17. So y-intercept is 0, 17. So y equals 17. Any questions? Any questions? Yes, Michael. Huh?
Where you press?
15, beginning in 2000, this 14 increases ticket prices by a constant amount each year until 2010. A ticket cost $48 in 2005. A ticket cost $55.50 in 2008. How much did a ticket cost in 2000? Express the answer as dollars and cents. Okay, so you have your years. You have 2000, 2001, 2002, 3, 4, all the way up to 2010. They tell you that it goes at a constant rate every single year. Okay? The ticket costs $48 in 2005. Then it tells you in 2008 it costs $55.50. First step, figure out how many years passed from 05 to 08. Okay? And also find the difference between the ticket prices. So we got $55.50. Subtract 48. And when you subtract, that gives you $7.50. Okay? Now it's from 2005 to 2008 sometime. That is 3 years. So we're going to do $7.50 divided by 3 years. And that gives us $2.50 per year. So it goes $2.50 per year. So we want to find what it was in 2000. So we're just going to subtract $2.50 every single time per year. Okay? Or you can say $2.50 times, well, from 2000 to 2005 is 5 years. So when you multiply, that gives you $12.50. All you have to do then is say 48 minus $12.50, and that will give you your old ticket price. So again, you need to come out to the side and subtract. Price of the ticket back in 2000 was $35.50. Suppose that scientists estimate that every square mile of the ocean contains an average of 4.6 times 10 to the 4th pieces of trash. The area of the Earth's surface that is covered by oceans is approximately 1.2 times 10 to the 8 square miles. Using the estimate, how many pieces of trash are in the Earth's oceans? Okay, again, area is length times base times height. But they already give us the area. The area is 1.2 times 10 to the 8 square miles. They tell us that for every square mile, the trash is 4.6 times 10 to the 4th per square mile. Since they give us the total square miles, and they tell us how much track is at each square mile, all we're going to do is 1.2 times 10 to the 8 times 4.6 times 10 to the 4. Remember, keep each scientific notation in its own set of parentheses. Also remember to use your exponent key on your calculator. And you should get a number that says 5.52 times 10 to the 16th power. Since we want to estimate, we're going to pick the answer that's closest, which is A. So I hit the wrong key on the calculator. It should be 5.52 times 10 to the 12. Remember, the calculator is only as good as the person pressing the keys. Okay. Number 17. On Monday, Mr. James made an 8-hour trip to his mother's house in his car. The graph below shows the distance he had traveled at different times. So this is for Monday. On Tuesday, he drove home. His speed on Tuesday was 5 miles per hour faster than for the trip on Monday. Which equation will model the distance d that Mr. James had traveled on his return trip after T hours? So, first step, find out Monday how many miles he traveled. If you look here, he did 8 miles, 8 hours, and it was 400 miles. So Monday, he will do 400 miles divided by 8 hours. That is 50 miles per hour. Tuesday, it was 5 miles per hour faster. So for Tuesday, we did 50 plus 5. He went 55 miles per hour. Okay? So, distance equals rate times time. His rate was 55. So the answer is C. 55 times T. Number 18, what value of x satisfies the equation negative 4x minus 2 all over 3 equal negative 6? Okay? Since the 3 is dividing everything, instead of dividing by 3, we're going to multiply by 3. So negative 4x minus 2 equals negative 6 times 3. Negative 6 times 3 is a negative 18. Again, the whole point of the equation is get the variable on one side, the numbers on the other. So instead of adding 2, we're going to instead of subtracting 2, we're going to add 2. So we got negative 4x equals a negative 16. So negative 4 is multiplying the x. So we're going to divide. X equals negative 16 divided by negative 4. Negative divided by negative is a positive. X equals 4. Number 19, a company charged $211.25 for 5 trees and 15 shrubs. The company charges $15.25 more for a tree than a shrub. How much does each shrub cost? Again, this is one of those word problems you got to decipher. Okay? I'm going to let x equal tree and y equal your shrub. They tell you if you have 5 5 trees, so that's 5x, plus 15 shrubs. That gives you $211.25. Then the next part of the problem, they tell you the company charges 15.25 more for a tree than a shrub. So x, which is a tree, equals y, which is a shrub, plus 15.25. So since we already know what x is, x equals y plus 15.25, all we got to do is take our first equation, and where we see x, we're going to replace it with y plus 15.25. So we're going to take our first equation, where we see x, like 5x, we're going to replace it with 5 times y plus 15.25 plus 15y equals $211.25. Next step, get rid of the parentheses by doing the distributive property. So we got 5y plus 15.25 times 5. It gives us 76.25 plus 15y equals 211.25. Combine like terms. 5y plus 15y is 20y plus 76.25 equals 211.25. Yet again, you want to get the variable by itself. So instead of adding 76.25, we're going to subtract it. So we have $211.25 minus $76.25, and that gives us 135. So 20y equals 135. To find out y equals 135 divided by 20. Which gives us 675. Since y is our shrub, that means our shrub is $6.75. The number 20, 2 stores sell cherries at different prices per pound. Store P sells 3.5 pounds of cherries for $13.30. The graph below shows the cost of purchase different weights of cherries at store Q. So this top bullet is for P, the graph is for Q. Philippines purchased 10 pounds of cherries. Which statement below is true? Okay, first step. We got to find out the price per pound at the store. So for store P, to find the price per pound, we have to do $13.30 divided by 3.5 pounds. And that will give us our price per pound, which is $3.80 per pound. Okay. Now, for store Q, all we got to do is look at the weight as 1. The weight as 1 is here. Now, that's kind of hard to tell where the point is. So, we need to find a point that we can work with. So the point that we can work with is 1.25, because it crosses exactly at 4. So we have costs $4 to buy 1.25 pounds at store Q. So 4 divided by 1.25 is $3.20 per pound. Okay? So let's look at answer choices. A. Philip will spend $8 less on carries at store P than at store Q. B. Philip will spend $8 more at store P than at Q. C. Philip will spend $6 less on carries at store P and store Q. D. Philip will spend $6 more at carries at store P than at store Q. When we look up here, P costs more than Q. So we can eliminate all the ones that says P is less than Q. So that would be A and C. Now we got to figure out how much more we can spend. Well, P is $3.80 per pound times 10 pounds. When you multiply by 10, what you're going to do is do the decimal over one place. Q is $3.20 per pound for 10 pounds. Again, multiplying by 10 means you do the decimal one place over. $32. Okay? And to find the difference, we subtract. So it's $6 more. So the answer is B. Alright, to solve this, first we got to find the price per hour. Right? Since company P uses this equation, the price per hour is X. So we're going to replace X with 1 because 1 hour will tell us how much we earn per hour. So we have Y equals 50 plus 30 times 1. So for 1 hour, that's $80. Okay? So it's $80 for that first hour. Okay? Table below shows the cost to run limousine from company R for different lengths of time. Okay. 1 hour is 100. 2 hours is 25. 3 hours is 150. 4 is 175, and 5 is 200. So what's the difference per hour each time? How can you go from 100 to 125?
25.
How can you go from 25 to 150? From 150 to 75? Okay. Each time is 25. Now here, this time it was 30 because it was 1 hour times $30. So he charges $30 per hour. And R charges whatever its rate is plus $25 per hour. P is $5 more than R. So the answer is D. Any questions? Number 22, there are several ways to do this. So you can grab every single answer here, see which one crosses Y at 2. So your point you're looking for is 0, 2. Or you can use your slope-intercept form. I'm going to do the slope-intercept form. They tell you the slope is 3, and your y-intercept is 2. So that means y equals 3x plus 2. So the best thing to do is to plug in your answers. Now, if you scan your answers, you'll see that all of them have -1, -1, Two of these have 2 8s, well, 3 of these have 2 8s. 2 of them have, well, 3 of them have 5 17. And 3 of them have 8 26. Since they all have negative 1, negative 1, you know negative 1 is going to work. So I will skip ahead and do 2, 7. So x is 2, y is 7. So we're going to see it. 7 equals 3 times 2 plus 2. So 3 times 2 is 6 plus 2. 7 does not equal 8. So we know B is wrong. Okay? Again, pick the next one that's different. 518 is different. We're going to plug in 5, 18. Y is 18. 3 times 5 plus 2. 3 times 5 is 15 plus 2 is 17. 18 does not equal 17. So we know any of them that has 5, 18 is wrong. So we're left with 826 and 825. Again, just pick one of them and plug it in. So 26 equals 3 times 8 plus 2. 3 times 8 is 24, plus 2 is 26. 26 does equal 26, so the point 826 works, so that means A is